So we're incredibly lucky today and grateful to be joined by Mike Rutherford from Genesis and Mike and the Mechanics. Good afternoon, Mike. How are you?
Good afternoon. Fine, thank you.
Good. And so we're going to attempt to intersect decades of global hits with a brand strategy and communications agency, which we can with first question. So I just wanted to ask you, Mike, about technology and creativity. Which are two things as an agency that we sort of fuse and tread the line between each day. But, you know, Genesis sort of pioneered technology and creativity and within music. And I just wondered if you felt they were two opposite forces or if you felt they sort of had to work in unity, or where your view was on that.
Well, in a way, I've got quite a good viewpoint just because it's 50 years of doing this. In a sense, interestingly enough, you know, when we started, there was no technology. You know, there was just music. There was nothing you recorded on a tape recorder. It was purely a musical thing. Records were made, sent around in the shop you bought them. There was no kind of tech part of your job, in a sense, or your career. And I've seen it go digital, where it's shared now and streamed. Is something which I quite understand. I found it slightly hard because I came from such a different place when I started. However, having, you know, I always embrace things. And I think in a sense, you have to realize that actually there's no way to avoid what is happening.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends of mine who are like, you know, oh gosh, it's all streamed. You get no money. It's 0.0031, which is true, but you have to sort of say it's the way it's gone. You know, you can argue that actually with the loss of the sort of personal sales of music, it's become a different platform. And so you can't fight that. And so in a sense, I think they don't fight. They just, one now pulls the other. I think originally music pulled the technical side. There wasn't very much. You just push the recording from tape recorders, you know, to cut and paste, and you can do what you want, which is a good and a bad thing, but it's the way it's gone. And you can't really deny that. But the other thing I'm going to mention, actually, technology, is that along the way with Genesis, along the route on the Genesis career, we got involved in lighting.
Yeah.
And the story is quite nice because this is, you know, here we're a band, very musical, just making records, selling them on vinyl, just about CD. And we always had a good production. We had this idea for a light. At the time, you had, you know, one light, one color gel, you know, 10 reds, 10 green, 10 blues. And so because we were outside the box, we could say to lighting companies, why can't one light change color and move? And everyone said it can't be done. But because we were outside the box, and this applies to technology now, we can say, well, that's not good enough. You know, we're not a lighting company, we're not in that world. Why can't it be done to find a way, or it can't be done? So we found a sound company in Dallas who had the same idea and invented the moving light, the very light. And my point really, which has been a huge success now as this business standard, is that sometimes it's good to think outside the box a bit.
Yeah.
To be outside the world, you know, and say, well, why can't it be done?
And those things, presumably for you, have sort of guided each other then. So creativity and technology have pulled each other along at different times.
But the innovation was worth it, because actually you sort of have to push the boundaries a bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, I know technology is flying at the moment, but always embrace what's out there and always say, why can't something else be done?
So my second question is about band and brand, or versus brand, really. And I was just interested, you know, in your experience, whether in a band there is a kind of unwritten brand guidelines from your story and your product that you almost feel controlled or guided by, or if in that world and your world, actually everything falls from the music. I was just interested in your opinion on band versus brand and the importance of each.
I think in a sense, I have to tell the story from my point of view. You know, when we started, the word brand was something that tied with sneakers or fridges, you know, not music. And I heard a story recently, interesting actually, you used the word brand. There's a girl on breakfast TV, I think Storms' cousin, and she had an album out or a new song out, and she had a bit of a story. She'd been working had a difficult upbringing. And her phrase was, you know, I got to protect my brand, build my brand.
Yeah.
And I sort of laughed a bit because it's sort of such a strange thing. Because I came from a world where if you do a good album or write good music, do good work, that's the brand being looked after. And of
Mm.
course, now it's sort of, we came from a slightly, it's a long time ago, sort of all in black and white in my day, how it started. There were no good contracts, dodgy managers, and not much business sense, which was kind of okay because there wasn't a business. It was a few managers and a few bands. It's now a huge business, multinational and global. And so it's a different beast. And I remember hearing someone a few years ago say on the radio, he's a young artist, up and coming artist, and he's got his record deal, and it's going through a Dutch holding company, and he's got all the lawyers and the guy said, and the music said, well, I haven't written the album yet. I haven't done the album.
Yeah.
We came from the place when guys got ripped off and made mistakes. So in a sense, the word brand is foreign to me. I just think the music and the thing you create, and in a sense, in your world, in a new company now, the idea of a new concept or a new way to explain something, if that is good and strong, it'll push the brand.
Yeah. And then question number 3 is, so throughout your entire career, so 35 years almost with Mike and Mechanics, you've been chasing an intangible, abstract thing, right? A creative moment, a hook, a melody, a lyric. And I just wondered, is there advice that you have on actually finding that creativity, on finding that moment?
Yeah, I think so. It's been 50 years of trying to make it work. And of course, the older you get, the harder it gets, because you get more honest with yourself. If I knew what made something, a song, a lyric, an idea come to life, I would have done much better. And in a way, I love the fact you don't really know. You know what I mean? I have, say, 12 songs on a new album, and they're all fabulous to me. I look back 10 years later, and I can go, well, those 4 are rubbish. At the time, you get too close to it. And I think you always think I think by now I should know how to do it. It's this intangible thing. And all I really can do is to find something that inspires me.
Yeah.
That's me musically. I'm selfish. And you must be selfish. You must do something that inspires yourself, excites you. And if that, don't worry about other people, because at that moment in time, if it works for you and gets you going that much, then A, you're on the right track, B, it's the right thing to do, and C, the chances are it'll work for other people. But it's terribly difficult always worrying about, in a sense, in your world, there's all this market research and stuff. Sometimes you chase facts, figures, and other times just a great idea comes through, musically, or like you do in your world, and you just got to go, that feels strong to me.
Do you think that's actually quite a simple thing then? Not that it's simple to find, but when it does happen, it is a simple moment.
Yeah, and I think what you can say to yourself is that, as in music, if I'm not sure about something, if I'm asking questions, then it's not right.
Yeah. And
I've also found if a song or a piece of music is really right, no one says, "Oh, what about this?" You know what I mean? I've learned that. When something's really good, no one says, "Well, I'm not quite sure about that." We hold that thought with your company too, in a sense. An idea should be sort of unable to be beaten up.
Yeah.
It can be questioned, but I think in general you find if they're asking too many questions, it's not right.
Brilliant. Mike, thank you so much. That's an amazing advice. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you.